Kia ora, everyone. So, trying out something new for the channel. This is a solo film review. And for the first review, I chose The Deadlands. So, The Deadlands is a 2014 New Zealand film directed by Toa Fraser and written by Glenn Standring. So essentially, this is a Maori revenge action film designed to showcase the martial art of Maori Action. So, I am not from New Zealand, in case you can't tell from my accent. So if you are from New Zealand and you happen to watch this video and I'm saying everything completely wrong, please feel free to correct me in the comments section below. So for the rest of you who may have no clue what any of these words mean, I'm just going to give a very, very brief cultural introduction and then move on to the review of the movie itself. So the Maori are the indigenous people of New Zealand and are part of the wider Polynesian community that includes other Pacific Islanders, so, you know, Hawaiians, Tongans, Samoans, and many others. Recently, several Maori actors have become relatively high-profile Hollywood celebrities. So, most notably, Temuera Morrison, who's most well-known for his role as Jango Fett and subsequently every other clone in the Star Wars movies, and Cliff Curtis, who you probably don't know the name, but you know the face, because he's been around since before Hollywood knew what a Maori was, or what a New Zealand was, for that matter. So he has had a number of roles as usually Arabic or Hispanic characters since the 90s, and is currently filming the second and third of the Avatar films. No, not that Avatar. The other one, with the potential of 36 follow-up sequels. And more recently, the world has been graced with the presence of actor, director, and just all-around nice guy, Taika Waititi, who, of course, viewers will know from his standout performance in 2011's critically acclaimed masterpiece, Green Lantern.
Now pay attention. Ah, green! Wow. I know, right?
Oh, and you know, also being the director of Thor Ragnarok, Jojo Rabbit, and the season 1 finale of The Mandalorian. And he's currently in pre-production for Taika Waititi, an untitled Star Wars story. So I'm sure you recognized at least one of those three outstanding Maori celebrities, which is great, because none of them have anything to do with this movie. Alright, moving on. 2014's The Deadlands is an action-adventure martial arts film set in the age before Europeans discovered New Zealand, which is known as Aotearoa in Maori. So this happens sometime before 1800 and after 1300, maybe. Probably. So, yeah, it stars James Rolliston as Hongi, the son of a tribal chief, who is used as a scapegoat by a warrior from a rival tribe named Wirapa, who desecrates the remains of his ancestors and then blames it on Hongi, which he then uses as pretext to go to war against Hongi's tribe, which he does later that night, so this guy doesn't mess around. Wirapa is played by Tekohe Tuhaka, who we'll be seeing a lot more of after this, as he's the lead actor in the TV series adaptation, which I'm going to do a review on shortly. So Wirapa attacks Hongi's village, basically kills everyone in the tribe, at least all the men, and he leaves Hongi for dead. Who later wakes up the following day, discovers the extent of Wirapa's carnage, gets chewed out by the village elder woman, and then, so he's determined to get revenge. So Hongi sets out to hunt down the war party responsible, but he's not a complete idiot, and he realizes that it's not possible to kill them all by himself. So luckily for him, he happens to live near a place known as the Deadlands, which the more perceptive among you may recognize as the title of the film. In this adaptation, the Deadlands is basically a metaphorical statement. So it simply means the area where this great tribe used to live, but then mysteriously disappeared overnight. It's now rumored that the territory is the home of a taniwha, which is a Maori word for like a monster or a dragon or something. But he's actually a man known only as the Warrior, and he's played by Lawrence Makware. And this is a name some extremely die-hard Lord of the Rings fans may know from the credits, and probably not much else, as he played a bunch of orcs, Uruk-hai, and the Witch King of Angmar, so basically unrecognizable. So the Warrior eventually agrees to help Hongi hunt down Wiripa's war party, and the rest of the film basically goes pretty much like you'd expect from a martial arts revenge film. The story is pretty simple, but it gets the job done, and the little pieces we get of Maori culture are all really great. The film itself is in Te Reo Maori, so with English subtitles, so this will probably be many international viewers' first exposure to the language, and the costuming and the sets are all really fantastic. The action and the combat shown is brutal, fast-paced, and very frequent. The fight scenes take up a huge chunk of the film, which is perfect for a movie like this, so it knows what it's trying to be. And it really shows off the visceral nature of the Maorakau fighting style, which uses a variety of clubs, spears, and stabs to bash opponents' heads in, basically. It should go without saying that this movie is extremely violent, features multiple graphic killings as well as cannibalism, so if you're squeamish, this is probably not your best choice for movie night. But if you're not, give it a go. The characters in this are serviceable, the acting is fine. I'm not saying that anybody's terrible in this, they're not. But nobody really stands out except for Makware's performance as the Warrior, who is thoroughly unlikable for the vast majority of the film. It's said to the audience that this guy has done horrible things, and you absolutely believe that he is capable of it. And his overall take on the character isn't too far off from his performances in Lord of the Rings, except for he's supposed to be the good guy here. Well, at least in the sense that he's helping the actual hero. But he also has an interesting side arc about trying to get accepted into the afterlife by his ancestors, which is a common theme in both the movie and the TV series. So Maori culture features a large degree of ancestor reverence. So you see that a lot in here. And his ancestors won't let him in, which probably has something to do with the fact that he killed and ate most of them. But, you know, despite that, he does have some redeeming qualities by the end, and manages to have a fairly emotional scene of dialogue with Hongi, which, I mean, it happens to happen right after he murders a bunch of people who just helped them, but, you know, that's neither here nor there. So overall, I did enjoy this movie, and I'm extremely fascinated by Maori culture, which probably skewed my rating of the film a bit, but I think the exotic setting aside, it's a serviceable and competently made action flick. It definitely gets the job done, but it doesn't really bring anything new to the table in terms of like revenge martial arts films. So I'm going to have to give The Deadlands a 6 out of 10, which is, you know, slightly above average. So be sure to tune in next time for my review of The Deadlands. Again, but this time the 2020 Shudder series, which has the same name and is made by the writer of this one, stars the villain of this as the lead anti-hero, and aside from that has almost nothing to do with this at all. So hope you enjoyed this review, and I'll be putting together a lot more content like this in the future. Thanks for watching.